you know, the ocean has a lot of benefits, and it's a way, it's still a workout, and for your mind it's something amazing.
At the end we can leave the board with these guys. It's the same group, or we need to bring it back to the...
Maybe. Between races and stuff, when I come back home, there are so many amazing beaches that it's just great to switch off, recharge the batteries, and then, you know, go back to the fights on the racetracks. 2012-13, when I was on the verge of going into Formula 1, I hated endurance. Like, I could not look at it. You know, if I had an offer to race a GT car or whatever, I really did not like it. And then I had no choice than to try it. You know, BMW employed me and they said, look, we'd like you to start doing some endurance. And from day one, it was love at first sight. Sharing a car with friends, it's one of the most gratifying experiences that I've had on a racetrack, so I love it.
Walking the track is vital for learning a new venue like Portimao, and it also gives the opportunity to catch up with old friends.
See you.
Good to see you. You all right?
Hey man.
How are you?
All good?
Yeah, good.
You okay? You guys okay?
Yeah. I think we'll be all right.
Yeah?
I think we'll be all right.
I'm curious.
I'm really curious. I just want to get like a few laps in FP1 and then we'll know, because we have no idea.
Yeah.
We have no idea how quick it will be.
From looking at the other thing, the Toyota, it looks horrible.
Does it?
Yeah.
And it'll be worse.
Downforce wise?
Yeah.
Yeah.
In Spa Sector 2, they have no chance with us.
Right.
And it's
I
a
think it'll
four-wheel
be
drive.
difficult here with the LMP2 cars here.
I think
super
LMP2
tricky.
will
And I
be
tell you,
quick.
the GTs, man, you know well, with their Michelin tires,
Yeah,
they
they're
have
good.
so much mechanical grip.
But here,
We'll see.
I think you guys will be quick compared to the hypercar.
Exactly. So on the test here, where were you braking, more or less?
About where the line is,
2 downshifts,
downshifts, stop the car properly,
and then no curb.
no curb, as far in as you can go, but stay away the yellow.
And the track limits on the exit?
It's hard to stay in.
It's hard to stay within the limit, quite hard.
Not
if
for you.
you miss the entry a little bit, you won't turn.
We never
If you do this in the race, you get a penalty if you keep going.
Nah, it's fine. I'm Portuguese. We're in Portugal. Don't worry.
Have you already paid the
no,
stewards?
It's fine.
We should explain the reason why the gentleman driver is telling Antonio and I how to drive is because he did a test here recently and we didn't.
For many, this is a new venue. For James Glickenhaus, it's the start of a whole new adventure.
We're just trying to do it as best as we can, but in the spirit of the privateers and people like Jim Hall, Carroll Shelby, Briggs Cunningham, the Americans, sportsmen, if you will, privateers who went out and tried to race the giants, and that's what we're doing.
2, 1, go in. Caravan still a bit too forward, I would say.
It's a very emotional, very special day. I mean, the WEC and Le Mans Hypercar is the top of sports car racing. And of course, Le Mans is the crown jewel of that. So, you know, we do a lot of races and a lot of things, and they're all very special, but this is a particularly wonderful thing that we're trying to do.
That's not bad. Yeah, it's pretty good. I was thinking we will be 6 seconds off. Yeah.
My love of racing, which went back to the 60s, when you saw dream prototypes that looked like cars that you could hope to own one day, racing each other, and that dream just stayed with me.
Still, the biggest problem is the front tyre. It's chatter. Okay. So you have to put a lot of steering in it, which causes a lot of TC.
The target for this weekend is to finish the race, to get as much information as we can to make the car faster for the next race, and then eventually to go on to Le Mans and try to do very well.
Plenty more to come. Yeah. Plenty more. No problem, dude.
Antonio, did you get the situation clear on the start? When you can...
that's actually... So I asked him, because obviously Tom is on a second row, I'm third row, but my row will always react quicker because this guy dictates when he goes. So there is a small risk of me crossing the line in front of Tom. And the first thing he said, follow your row. And then I asked him, what if I cross the line in front of us? Then yes, other teams will complain. It will be looked at for sure. Let me see what I can do, but I don't even want to get into that. No clear answer. Hopefully the Toyota has a bit of a better jump and the row will be. But basically, I will just make sure I don't cross the line. I mean, it's 8-hour race. I don't want to risk to get this guy.
Yeah, that's a smart thing.
1 minute to close pit exit. Under 1 minute to close pit exit.
Racing is still behind closed doors, but the return of a traditional pre-race grid is another little step towards normality.
Pedro, my old friend. How are you, mate?
Say that. Very glad to see you here.
Good to see you.
And I'll finish my career in front of you because I'm the safety car driver.
Oh, okay, good.
All the best.
Finally.
Do you feel good, yeah? Did you use those tyres on the way to the grid?
Yeah, they're okay.
Yes!
They're okay. I mean, no vibrations whatsoever. So all good.
All right. Well, let's have a good one,
man. Traffic.
Yeah, just keep the blue car behind you. Just.
I know. I will.
Oh, there's pickup?
Yeah, but this is the P3 tyre.
No, they quali now. Now you have the quali though. They changed.
They changed there when we were in the pit?
Yeah.
I thought they just topped up with fuel.
No, you have to put your race start tyre on to come to the grid.
But anyway, on cold tyres, it's...
Yeah, but pickup is a pickup on.
Yeah.
We are under 5 minutes to start the formation lap for the 8 Hours of Portimao.
Okay, Nico, I wish you a good start. Good start, Nico. Thank you. Thank you.
The red lights are out, the 8 Hours of Portimao is underway. Pole sitter Nico Lapierre in the blue Alpine leaves the Toyota hypercar rivals behind him. LMP2 lockups in the middle of the field is the Glickenhaus. The GT cars are already amongst them as everybody rushes out of turn 1 to turn 2 and the turn 3 hairpin. And the pole sitter in LMP2 is facing the wrong way. Tom Blomqvist in the middle of the field. How is nobody hitting him? Weaving to build temperature and pressure in the tyres. The race leader, Lapierre, jumping away from the Toyotas. What about the Glickenhaus? There it is. Successfully started its first ever race, this brand new car. On board with our GT leader, this is the pole sitter, Kevin Estre, was shatteringly quick in qualifying. You can see that there is still some temperature to be found for these tyres. It's a really tough track for tyres. This long, sweeping right-handed section that leads onto the main straight absolutely murders the rubber. Great battle between Inter Europol and high-class racing. Very close indeed down the straight, around the outside into the first turn. Who's going to take the advantage? They both brake too late and run out wide. They can't afford to be doing that too often in the race.
Beautiful start, Nico. Beautiful.
It was a great start for Nico Lapierre, determined to try and distance himself from the Toyotas. As at Spa, Alpine know they have an issue. They don't carry as much fuel as the Toyotas. They'll have to stop more often. In the GTE Pro class, there are two Porsche versus Ferrari fights. The 51 car, started by James Calado, already started to put a little bit more pressure on the Porsche than perhaps Kevin Estre might have expected. Black and Yellow Racing Team Netherlands leading in LMP2. They started in third place on the grid. Team WRT also getting by the Jota Sport car that started from pole position. In the GTE AM class, a frantic battle, and the D-Station Aston Martin 777 with the black and green already up to third place and diving down the inside for second position. Phenomenal start to the race for Tomonobu Fuji as he goes underneath and past pole sitter Egidio Perfetti. Through as well goes the 54 AF Corsa Ferrari. Well, Perfetti, the pole sitter, getting beaten up left, right and centre, running out wide, picking up rubbish on the tyres. And now 77, this is Christian Reed. GTE change of lead, through comes the Aston Martin, the 54 Ferrari is right there as well. The Porsches not bringing their tyres in quickly perhaps. Will that be better for longer tyre life? Are they just a little less aggressive than the Aston and the Ferrari? D-Station leads from AF Corsa, the Porsches are sagging down the order. Nico Lapierre, the race leader, pulling away from the Toyotas.
Sorry, Nico. I have just the noise. Problem of radio.
D-Station Aston Martin starting to slow. Marcos Gomez goes through in the 98 Aston for second. Tomonobu Fuji is really starting to struggle now, smoke pouring off the car under braking. Looks like he may have a tyre issue. Richard Westbrook, early steps for this Glickenhaus programme, their first ever race. This is all about getting to the finish, piling up the data as they prepare for their first ever assault on the 24 Hours of Le Mans. Glickenhaus under no misapprehension. They know they've got a mountain to climb. They'll be battling the giants of the sport. Challenge for third place in GT Pro in a robust one. Daniel Serra dives to the inside of the 91 Ferrari, passes Jimmy Bruni.
Well done. Focusing front now.
Well, Serra had been working on this for a lot of laps and finally just forced his way through. Jimmy Bruni not expecting him to appear inside there. Lead battle in LMP2, Robin Friens all over the back of Gedo van der Garde in the Racing Team Netherlands car, straight down the inside and overcooks it, outbrakes himself. Van der Garde comes back. Friens has been trying to figure out where to attack the Dutch driver, and that was as close as it gets. Look at this from on board the Racing Team Netherlands car. Robin Friens shoots across his bows. In the pits, the race leader, the Alpine in for regular service, but stopping a few laps shy of where Toyota will come in. They will need at least one more pit stop in the race than their hypercar rivals, and that means they are really pushing hard now. Toyota number 8 leading Toyota number 7, and the Cinetec team know that the Alpine is a little bit quicker than the Toyota on a lap, but not maybe enough. They're going to have to magic something up here.
Okay, so you are now P1. Alpine has pitted.
Let's hear from our frustrated LMP2 pole sitter, Tom Blomqvist.
I mean, first of all, it's obviously a big shame, a big blow to our race. Thankfully, we have 8 hours to try and, make amends. Van der Garde, I think it was, managed to get around the outside into the hip, and I was kind of in the middle, a head car on the left, and I think someone hit me on the inside and spun me around. So, yeah, really, really a shame. We're a long way behind.
First incompleted for Blomqvist's teammate Antonio Felix da Costa. They fared a little better in that contact at the start, but now he's got to face the music.
Sorry, man. I was trying to back down, it was too late. Yeah. Sorry, man. Sorry about the first lap.
Early pit stop for Jimmy Bruni, struggling on his tyres. Porsche not where they expected to be in terms of race pace versus Ferrari. Into the pit lane from second place, Toyota number 7, stopping a lap earlier than the number 8 car. That's traditionally how Toyota do it. If they're going to stagger the cars, the leader gets the choice. But as the pit stops cycle through, the Alpine goes back ahead, and it will also retake the lead when number 8 stops in a lap. Race leader in the pits. Toyota so well rehearsed. And for Toyota, this is their 100th World Championship race as a team. Of their 31 wins, 30 have come in World Endurance Championship events. Will Alpine ruin their party on their centenary? They will do everything they can to try. First racing pit stop for Glickenhaus Racing in World Endurance Championship. Richard Westbrook will get out. Ryan Briscoe runs round and pops the door open. And this must become absolute clockwork routine for the team if they're to stand any chance at Le Mans. Drama for Francois Perrodo. Damage on the right front corner. Is that contact, or has the tyre let go and ripped the car apart? Look in the background. Gone straight off with a puncture. He's made it to the pits, but there is a lot of work to be done. Ooh, contact in LMP2, battle for 6. Roberto Gonzalez in the green Jota car being turned around by Ben Hanley. Ooh, and this is the leader's view. Where'd you go, where'd you go? He cuts inside, nicely handled. Frustration for Juan Pablo Montoya and Henrik Hedman at Dragon Speed. 3 wide down to turn 1, and the Ferrari, that's James Collado, ahead now of the Porsche. Change of lead in GTE Pro. So James Collado, who stayed in ahead of the 92 car, Kevin Eschard handed that over to Neil Jarni, and there's Kevin talking Michael Christensen, their third teammate, through what's going on. Well, as we saw with Daniel Serra, the Ferrari, just with better grip than the Porsche, goes through on the inside. 90 minutes into the 8 hours, Alpine leading by over 12 seconds from the better of the 2 Toyotas. They'll need a big advantage, though, by the end of the race to overcome what's expected to be at least 1 extra pit stop that their rivals won't need to take.
Yes, we are working it. It's a long race.
As ever, Buemi's frustration is too evident on the radio. He's stuck in traffic, and he's only ever really happy if he's leading the race. As Alpine stop, Toyota will cycle back through to the top of the pile. They'll go 1-2. Andre Negrão takes over as the team refuel once more. But they still have that extra pit stop somehow to work around. It has, however, been a great double opening stint from Nico Lapierre.
we had a good start and we stayed in front of the Toyota, which was the first target. And then we were pushing as much as we could. We know we have to open this gap to do the extra stop because they are much longer than us on fuel. So it will be at least one more stop. We know we have to open the gap, and I was trying to do that as much as possible. As you know, we had a radio problem in the middle of my first stint. They could not hear me anymore, so it was not so comfortable, but in the end we made it and we're going to fix it for the next stint.
Change for second place in LMP2. Paul de Resta in the 22 United car, passing 29. Frits van Aert now in the Racing Team Netherlands machine. So the gentleman driver having his first stint here in Portimao. Oh, trouble at the hairpin. The red car's the Glickenhaus, 77 Dempsey Proton, the 777 D-Station Aston. And there's been contact. Ryan Briscoe trying to get the Glickenhaus moving. It had gear selector problems in free practice. Have they returned? The D-Station Aston isn't moving. It's trying to. Tyre marks on the side of the Glickenhaus. The AM battle here, the Aston pulling out, Briscoe trying to pull in, and that is a classic contact in traffic incident here at the hairpin. As the Aston moves to its left, Briscoe's trying to go right, and unfortunately 3 into 1 does not go.
Fitness lap, the clutch is slipping, probably damage as well.
The Glickenhaus goes back into the garage. This is all part of racing, but the team need data more than they need repair bills.
Yeah, I was just going here. There were 2 GT cars. And then one, he just pulled out, hit my rear wheel. Just hit the rear wheel. Yeah. I mean, I was trying to be zero risk. Yeah, I know.
In the battle for hypercar supremacy, another round of pit stops from Toyota will push the Alpine back to the front.
Okay, André, all is green for us, all is green. I confirm full attack, all is green for us. Confidence. Nico, say to you, turn 8 in second gear is better. Turn 8 in second gear is better. Confidence.
Into the pits from the lead in GTE AM, the Iron Dames. Rahel Frey brings in the Ferrari. And Michel Gatting will take over. They're running in the top 4 consistently. This is a very strong race from the all-female crewed Ferrari.
We're going to swap position, turn 4, mate, turn 4.
Toyota, interestingly, looking like they're going to put the faster car in front, and that's Mike Conway. He's just taken over the number 7 machine from its starting driver, Jose Maria Lopez. Toyota know that they need to work hard to take this win. Drive-through penalty for car 31. This is car 31, the leader in LMP2, WRT. So for speeding in the pit lane, well, that means the first job of the new driver will be to come in and serve the penalty. Battle for the lead in GTE AM between the 2 Ferraris, the dark blue one, Roberto Lacorte, the silver car, Giancarlo Fisichella, and he's using the Aston that they're trying to lap. Lacorte trying to go the outside, Fisichella sneaks by to grab the lead, thanks to the slower Aston of Dylan Pereira. The Richemille Racing Team car spinning on the in-lap here. And Tatiana Calderon just rolling back into the gravel. The tyres obviously at their end. Number 1 hits its marks. Tatiana Calderon brings the car in. The Colombian gets out to hand over to Sophia Flörsch.
Got loose in the hairpin, so when I came to turn 8, I moved and I touched the steering.
This is why you speed.
The corner before it, because I had to fight the car, I think I touched with the belt.
Okay. And the balance of the car for you?
Oversteer.
Oversteer.
Mathieu Vazivière waiting to take over as the Alpine comes in. Double stint completed for Andre Negrão. Their titanic battle with Toyota continues.
I lost so much time in the beginning of the race with the traffic. I was afraid to try to overtake like in Spa. So I prefer to cool down a little bit just to don't make any mistake. But then it was super traffic. Then after 10, 12 lap was getting better because then you get used to the traffic as well.
And after the balance of the car?
It's just understeering.
It's been a tough race so far, and Andre will have more work to do later. And that means rest and respite is absolutely crucial. Let the body and mind recover.
Yeah, it's just a little bit hard in the beginning of the race.
Let's see where
Yeah, I have still a lot of race. I'm back.
Blinking in the sunshine, the Glickenhaus emerges from the garage and heads back out into the race with a new clutch fitted. LMP2 leader in the pits, the United Autosports number 22 car has 2 new drivers this weekend. Paul Di Resta is in for Felipe Albuquerque, one of the regular drivers who's racing in America, and Wayne Boyd, who's just stepped out, in for Fabio Scherer, who unfortunately tested positive for COVID. WRT now in the lead of the race, but it was a great first ever stint in World Endurance for Wayne Boyd.
Yeah, it was. Firstly, I would like to say, get well soon to Fabio. Obviously, it's a horrible situation for him to miss a World Championship race, but for me, it was an amazing opportunity to have a go at it, and definitely in at the deep end a little bit. There's a lot of pressure I'm putting on my own shoulders. The team are pretty cool with it, but I'm glad just to get that first double stint out of the road and get the nerves away.
In from first and second in LMP2 now, the Jota Sport cars, driver changes all round. They're going a lap longer on fuel than their rivals, and that may pay off in the long run. Paul Di Resta cycles back into the lead for United, WRT and Racing Team Netherlands still in the hunt. Toyota 1-2, Brendan Hartley now in the number 8 car ahead of Mike Conway, with the Alpine in third place. Working their way through traffic, desperate not to lose any time, and Conway really closing down the leader now. Down into the hairpin, there's been a change. Mike Conway goes by for the lead. That was clearly orchestrated by the team. They want the faster car in front not being held up. Into the pits is the number 7 Toyota. And that hands the lead back to number 8. Out gets Conway and in gets Kobayashi.
Well, I mean, it's just as the stints are evolving, we're changing quite a few things in the car, and we're just trying to relay all the messages to the next driver getting in. And it's tricky to manage the double stint with the tyres. So just some advice on what happened throughout the stint, because it's a bit limited, the data they can see at the pit wall. So just trying to download as much as I can to feed the information to the engineer.
4 hours in, 4 to go. Alpine leads from Toyota in hypercar. Jota 1-2 in LMP2. The United, WRT, Inter-Europol, Racing Team Netherlands all competing. In GTE Pro, it is all about Ferrari. Porsche are completely lost, but in GTE AM, the 98 Aston Martin has cycled back to the top of the pile ahead of a slew of Ferraris. Just 2 cars have retired from the record 32 car field, 77 and 777 after that accident. Miguel Molina in the red Ferrari, car number 52 in second place in GTE Pro. Ahead of him is 92, the Porsche that lies in third. Whatever Porsche imagined for their race day here in Portimao, I'm sure they did not imagine that by not long after halfway they would have been lapped by the Ferraris, but that is what has happened. Paul Dall'Anna under pressure from Thomas Floor. The Ferrari sails down the inside at the hairpin. Lead change in GTE AM. But the Aston Martin remaining competitive with 3 hours and 45 minutes to go. Drama at Racing Team Netherlands. Lots of smoke pouring off the car as it comes into the pit lane. Damage on the left rear corner. The suspension is broken. On board with Joop van Uitert inside the GTE Pro Ferrari. Contact, and he's gone off, and that is where the damage has come from. The young Dutchman can't believe his mistake. The suspension needs changing, the brakes, and probably the drive shaft too. This is a long stop.
We were leading in class, which would have been a very good result. But sadly, as you can see, we had a broken suspension. I was not expecting, I thought that if I go in, there could have been contact possibly, but not with any damages as, like this. It just, if you hit the wheels in the wrong angle, at some time they just break immediately, and that's what happened.
Just over 3 hours of the 8 hours of Portimao remaining. Pit stop time for Alpine. And this is where Toyota start to see their advantage unwind. As the Alpine comes in, the Toyotas are also due. Oh, a huge lockup coming into the pits. Oh, Kamui Kobayashi hits a little marker board. No other major dramas though. Driver change here. Nico Lapierre slots back into the Alpine, but they are now one full pit stop more than Toyota completed, and they are just going to squeeze out back in front of the number 7 car. Toyota's advantage is starting to work in their favour. Philippe Signo, the team boss in the Alpine garage, watching as Nico Lapierre sets a new fastest race lap. In comes the number 8 Toyota. Nakajima remains at the wheel. The battle continues to rage. Alpine giving chase to the Toyotas. But they remain 1-2 after the pit stops. Alpine need something special. Battle for second in LMP2, the green Jota car that started from pole. That is Stoffel van Doorn. Charles Milesi coming up behind him. And Charles in the WRT number 31 machine looking around the outside. That's very brave, but it's not legal. went way out beyond the white line. Another new fastest lap for Nico Lapierre in the Alpine. And, well, Milesi made the pass, but it was only successful because he ran wide out of there. He needs to give that back. Milesi ran the outside of the GT Pro Ferrari. Stoffel Van Dorn sees the opportunity to come back on the inside. Retakes second place from the WRT car. WRT have had 2 drive-through penalties already. By rights, they should be well clear, but they're still in the hunt.
Yeah, well, unfortunately, we had already 2 drive-through due to some issues. One was not able to engage the pit limiter in the first pit stop at the right time. The second one for blue flags. Not always easy to understand and to accept them, but well, we are still there fighting for. We are only 16 seconds from the lead, and about 3 hours to go.
Oh, there's trouble for Miro Konopka. He's looped the car round and he's got all 4 wheels stuck in the gravel. Nobody else involved, tyre or driver fatigue perhaps, but he's firmly beached.
Pit entry closed, we are under safety car. Pit entry closed, we are under safety car.
For the first time in the race with 2 hours and 43 minutes, we are under safety car. No full course yellows yet either. Miro Konopka being craned back onto the track. And the safety car is going to close up all the battles. Super tight now in LMP2.
When the safety car goes green, he's allowed to lift. So what he has to do is lift to the GTs because they still can't pass. And that means the other guy. That's fine. That means the other guy will also not be able to pass the GT till the line. Now, once they go green at 13, he is allowed to lift and manage the gap. So if he lifts out of 13 and loses a second, he can then go flat through 14 and be fine. And what that'll mean is the concertina effect, the other guy won't be able to. So wouldn't he be boxing?
No, it's just, we can only box after the end of this lap.
Green flag racing once more in Portimao after a short 4-lap safety car. Toyota trying to weave heat into the tyres. In the background you can see the Alpine. The safety car has brought them right back into it. They were almost a lap down. Good restart as well from Wayne Boyd for United Autosports. The blue car jumping away from Stoffel Van Dorn. Another learning experience in his first World Endurance Championship race for the Ulsterman. Challenge for second. Lapierre around the outside of Nakajima in the number 8 Toyota. Doesn't get through. But it shows that the Alpine has got great speed in the final sector and on the straight. Here we go again. This time Lapierre goes to the inside and takes second place away from Kazuki Nakajima. The Alpine much better on its tyres on the long corner that leads to the straight and uses that speed to go by. Into the pits again comes the Alpine. From second place, they'll drop back down to third.
You confirm, we keep the same tire. You confirm, we keep the same tire.
Lapierre will stay in the car and continue to try and hunt down the Toyotas. Pit stop for Toyota number 7. Kamui Kobayashi is out, and in gets Jose Maria Lopez. But they have a growing issue. The number 8 car is going longer on fuel. The number 8 car is edging ever closer to avoiding a final pit stop in the last few minutes.
Okay, we're going to swap passer on 4.
With their rivals in number 8 saving fuel, the only option left for the crew of number 7 is to go flat out and build a lead that will cover the pit stop they'll need. Battle for third place. Charles Milesi drifts out wide and Ant Davidson goes by. No, Milesi comes back at him. Fantastic racing throughout the LMP2 field. The 38 Jota car, I think Davidson thought he'd got it done. Down into the hairpin on the inside. Milesi uses the momentum of the outside line and comes back in front once more. Whatever Ant Davidson knew about Charles Milesi before now, he does know he is a robust competitor. Kevin Esgin, the Ferrari, battling for second with Daniel Serra. The Porsche's getting a wave by behind the safety car as lapped cars has brought them right back into the frame, but they still are struggling with tyres. WRT in third place, Charles Milesi with Ant Davidson, the 38 car, this time wriggling by. Milesi running out of tyres, you saw him lock up into the corner, and Davidson flashing his headlights at the AF Corsa Ferrari, now setting sail after the second place car in LMP2. Job done, but Milesi held him up.
We can go to the end without the extra splash. Both cars we are racing will have to do a splash. The Alpine and Car 7 will both have to do a splash. With our strategy, we will not. So efficient driving is what we need.
Trouble for Real Team Racing's Esteban Garcia. This is the Pro-Am class leader in LMP2. And through past him goes the Toyota. What happened? Oh, contact Ricardo Pera in the GTE Am Porsche, and it almost caught out the WRT car as well. He gets the engine fired up, but that has cost them the lead in Pro-Am. Now out front in Pro-Am, high-class racing, Anders Fjordbach. He's just taken over the car from Jan Magnussen.
It was a long 3 stints, but I had a ton of fun out there. It's so much fun fighting against, you know, the lap time, but also fighting against the other guys out there. Super fun, so happy.
Yeah, you're in the LMP2 class, but also within the Pro-Am category, and it's looking good for you, especially after that spin we've just seen.
Yeah, no, so right now it looks good, but there's still an hour and a half to go, and a lot of stuff can happen, but I'm pretty sure that Dennis is happy about this.
Battle for the lead in GTE Am, the Cetilar Ferrari. Giorgio Sanaggiotto, Ricardo Pera in the Porsche, down the inside, trying to go through, a little bit of contact. Yes, there was. The Porsche dragging a bumper, but Ricardo Pera has gone through. He's already under investigation for contact with the LMP2 car. I'd be careful if I were him. Number 8 Toyota in the pits. Number 7 goes through to take the lead. But the number 7 team still need to go faster and build an advantage for a late race pit stop. Here comes the Alpine in third place. We are in the final hour.
Right now it looks good for us in car 8 if we can keep everything together. But that being said, if there's a full course yellow or safety car, then it would bring the others into play. So yeah, I think we played the strategy right today. As a team, we split the strategy, we saved the fuel, the other guys went for it. So far it looks like it's going to be okay.
Well, the other guys include Alpine. They didn't have a fuel option, so they have had to go for it right from the very start, and they are still up for a podium finish. Who knows what might happen? In the GT Pro class, the race leader, the 51 Ferrari Alessandro Pierguidi, desperately trying to save fuel to avoid one final stop. Porsche don't have that option. Well, let's hear from Alessandro's teammate, birthday boy James Collado.
It's tricky out there. All the cars are suffering with blistering on the tyres. It's quite severe, so we're just trying to manage that as much as we can. And yeah, we're quite on the edge on fuel to make it to the end. So Alain's doing a lot of fuel saving just to try and see if we don't have to do a splash. So so far it's looking good. The Porsche's just boxed, so let's see. It's still 35 minutes to go.
Trouble for high-class racing. Anders Fjordbach is stationary at the side of the track. This is the Pro-Am leader as well. The all-Danish lineup. Oh, this could be a disaster. Real Team Racing now take the lead in Pro-Am, and early in the race they were last. What a topsy-turvy race it has been in LMP2 as we get set to go full course yellow. Everybody down to 60 kilometers an hour to allow the high-class car to be rescued. And a final rush into the pits for the number 7 Toyota team.
What is car 7 going to do? I would imagine they would box, but then also we can raise our target because the race will be shorter, so we can raise our target. Do you think if they box, we go ahead or not? Yeah, I think so.
And that is exactly what has happened. In the pits, Jose Maria Lopez. And now the number 7 car has the fuel it needs to get to the end, but it's lost track position to its teammates. Number 8 leads number 7. There'll be around 25 minutes of green flag racing for number 7 to take the lead and win this race.
Full course yellow removed, full course yellow removed.
Will the gloves come off? Can number 7 overcome the 10-second advantage of the number 8 car? At the head of LMP2, there's a tough battle between teammates shaping up as well. Tom Blomqvist ahead of Antonio Felix da Costa. They're 1-2 for Jota. And these are the cars that collided in the first lap. Jose Maria Lopez all over the back of Sebastian Buemi. Toyota number 7 has got the pace. That 10-second gap has evaporated, but now they've got to force their way through if they are allowed. Oh, contact there between the Jota cars. Change of lead in LMP2.
He's ahead! Oh my God. Vamos, Antonio, vamos.
Down at the hairpin, Antonio Felix da Costa on the inside of Tom Blomqvist, and the tiniest touch as he rubs his way past. Yeah, and Davidson.
How's the heart?
Team boss David Clark. It's been a worrying race for him. Final lap of the 8 Hours of Portimao, round 2 of the FIA World Endurance Championship. The checkered flag awaits. Toyota looking for a 1-2 result in their 100th race, and they have earned it. Across the finish line, the checkered flag is out for Sebastian Buemi, victorious for the second time this season with teammates Kazuki Nakajima and Brendan Hartley, ahead of the sister number 7 car.
Good, bro? I have a cramp. Oh, yeah? Shit. Okay. Let's get some water, bro.
A remarkably close fought 1-2 for Jota, and for Antonio Felix da Costa, a first ever win in Portugal.
Ahora sí se le respeta.
Así se le respeta.
Ahora sí se le respeta. Hey, Sam.
So cool.
Wait, those last laps were great.
Ferrari finished 1-2 in GTE Pro. Alessandro Pierguidi and James Collado breaking a long winless streak.
How we did it.
And there was a Ferrari win in the GTE AM class as well. Chetelaar, their first victory in World Championship racing. Toyota's 100th World Championship race ends it in a 1-2, with Alpine valiantly challenging all the way through and taking the final podium spot. of course, a first and second in a race where Porsche were utterly outclassed. And the Ferraris lead the manufacturers' table too. Because of the length of the race, there are points and a half for all categories here in Portimao, and that's going to make a big difference. The Pro-Am race was a tough one. In the end, Real Team coming out on top to claim their first World Endurance victory.
One more. Well done.
Man, thanks. See you soon, yeah?
See you in Monza.
What an emotional day for Antonio Felix da Costa.
Give it a foot, bro. That's fucking cool. It's cool, man. Excellent jump.
A first ever win in his home country.
Thank you, man. Yeah, you guys did awesome. That's not easy doing that in a hot car, so that was impressive. So
we got the temperature down a little bit, and we'll get it better. But
you know, in the end, I was pretty comfortable.
Yeah. No,
So
it's, you know, we're going step by step. It's not that we're ignoring it.
No. Yeah.
But thanks so much for everything, and we'll see you soon.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
James Glickenhaus's dream has become a reality. The first step on the road to Le Mans has been taken. The next is at Monza.